So welcome to this call from the DiversIT Charter expert group from CPIS. We're here this morning to talk about the DiversIT Charter and how to apply to be part of the Charter. So in introduction, I lead the expert group. My name is Gillian Arnold, and I'm recently stepped down from the board at the Council of European Professional Informatics Societies, or CPIS. I also chair the British Computer Society at the moment. I'm the president there. This equality thing, it's been an issue for a long, long time. I know that I personally have worked on it for over 25 years, and it's not really getting any better. So last year, for example, we were struggling all across Europe to recruit the right people with the right skills, and yet we were only employing 20% of the potential women. So we could be employing somewhere more in the region of 40 to 45% women, because that's the female working population average across Europe. And yet we only get half of those. And there's some thought that we could significantly grow revenues across Europe if we did something about this. And the statistics here between 2016 and 2022, the number of female tech professionals grew by 1.5%, and this is Eurostat sourcing. However, in the 25 years that I've been working on it, the growth has been 1.5%. So we've been static until very, very recently, and we haven't got massive growth even then. And yet, there are some significant benefits to having mixed workforces. So companies where the executive teams are more diverse can be hugely more profitable and can have better share prices and better earnings before interest and tax. That's mainly because diverse teams will increase productivity, and they'll increase the potential to innovate. So, for example, where a male and a female have completely different life experiences, as they come together to innovate on a technology product, they'll bring those life experiences into that innovation, and they will enhance what's created. So it won't be a single thought. And there's some belief and quite a lot of statistics that say where you do have diversity and inclusion in a team, then you will keep your people for a lot longer. And we know that losing people is costly. So it's really important for companies to keep their people. So who's behind the DiversIT Charter? We are the Council of European Professional Informatics Societies. We have 28 members from across the Greater Europe, and that's in representation somewhere in the region of 200,000 ICT professionals. And what we do is provide a voice for them across Europe. And so we have a series of expert groups, and they're looking at anything from security, ethics, education, community, and in our case, diversity. So we want to ensure diversity and inclusion in the IT sector. So our DiversIT Charter, it's pan-European. It's run by our CPIS Women in Tech expert group, some of whom you see here today. They are a series of experts within their own countries who understand about women in tech. And what we aim to do is create a certificate which recognizes a company for the work they've done in gender equality within the tech workplace. And we've tried to ensure that it's applicable to those people who are just starting off on the journey on gender equality in tech, through to those who are fully cognizant of all the tips and tricks and policies and procedures that you can put in place. And we know that we've now got a growing community of those who are interested to do that. So our key aims with the Charter are to challenge organisations to be more equal in their technical teams. And then as a group, as a collective, to share best practice on gender in tech. And the thing we've created is a framework for growth. So it takes you from the beginning through to the most skilled you could be in gender equality in tech. So the certification, this framework, it's a 3-level framework which starts at bronze, someone who's just started working on gender equality in tech, then through silver and gold. And what we do is we guide you through that journey by making suggestions on things that you can do in each level. So you may already have got to silver level. You may already have done everything that's required for the level at silver, and then all you would do is certify, and we would assess you to say, yes, we can see that you are doing everything that we would suggest in the framework at that level. However, if you've not started at all, then the framework provides you with the guidance at each level so that you would work through the things that could be useful to you. Then you certify, we assess you, you get the badge that says, yes, we're bronze level at the DiversIT Charter, and then you move on to the next steps in silver or the next steps in gold. And we've got 7 areas of evaluation within the DiversIT Charter framework. So, for example, we would ask that within your organization, there is some kind of networking group. Now, there's good reason for this. In years gone by, we've known that men will network together, and through those networks, they achieve new jobs, new opportunities. And so a women's network internal to your organization is the way to allow women to do that same networking. And then we like to see that you're doing activity in support of women in tech. We like to see that your policies around compensation, recruitment, training, etc., are up to scratch. We want to see, and this is probably more demanding at the higher levels of the charter at silver and gold. We like to see that you're interacting outside of your organization so that you are bringing new ideas into yourselves and also sharing your expertise. And then education for us is key. This is key to attracting new women to your organization who are new to the professions. So where policies are often about retaining women within the profession, the internal and external education links are useful for attracting women. We're also very aware that for the higher education establishments, they need a way to talk about what they're doing in terms of research and their methodologies. So we've provided that, but clearly that if that doesn't apply to you, then that's not part of the question. We want to know that you're monitoring your environment from the very beginning, because without monitoring and without data, you cannot know whether you're making any progress or not. And finally, having got that data, you need to be setting objectives and KPIs so that you can challenge yourselves to bring more women into the organisation. The Charter is practical. We think it's a way to inspire you to make change, and scalable because the way we've built it works for small organisations and large. And for example, if you have different departments, you could apply them to different departments and branches. we think it covers all of attraction and retention, but we do, as a result of the work that we do, have a group that will bring new ideas. So if it's not comprehensive now because something is changing, then as ideas change, we'll bring something new. And we believe it recognizes you and gives a strong, clear message to the outside that your organization is taking women in tech and the issues around women in tech seriously. Some of the benefits you get. So for us, the key benefit is a way to show external stakeholders that you have the right values and sensibilities. Now, that could be in alignment with the UN's Sustainable Development Goal 5, which is, achieve gender equality and empower all girls and women. So it could be that you use it as a certification to say, look, we are doing that stuff. It could be as a certification that you are doing that stuff when you apply for government contracts, when you apply for work with your customers. And so we do recognize that it could be a certification that will help you build your business. But certainly we know that it will make you more effective. You have the potential to increase innovation, increase revenues, and decrease the rate at which you lose women in tech. But the other thing is you become part of our DiversIT community, and that means you get to share the experience of others, learn from others, and you get to build connections. And it's a showcase. That's our plan, that you show off how well you're doing.
Thank you so much, Julian, for joining us in your busy day. And just very quickly introduce myself. My name is Erika Gutmane, and I am the executive manager and sometimes also the administrative assistant for the DiversIT Charter Initiative. I work with and for CPIS, and I'm responsible for this initiative. So I'll go over a bit more of the practical aspects and what we do. First of all, I just wanted to showcase our recent certified members. Last year especially, we saw quite a few applications. So we have Accenture Slovakia, the German Informatics Society, PeopleCert, and Icelandic Computer Society, and the Turkish Informatics Association, from whom you will also hear later on. Then we also launched a concept called Allied Members. Allied Members is a concept for organizations who work on topics regarding diversity and equality in tech, or more broadly. But also for companies that are just starting on the path of gender equality, but are really maybe are just even thinking where to start, what shall I do, how do I begin? So they join as our allied members, and they can, that way they showcase their interests and commitment to inclusion and gender equality in tech. But they also access our expert pool and knowledge to get started on this journey. And we already have one allied member, and it's an NGO from Slovakia, who ITVT, which means you too in IT. They do exquisite work in educating young girls and teenagers and women about tech and helping them get into tech professions. We have also an ambassador scheme. So some certified members who fulfill certain criteria can become DiversIT ambassadors. And our first ambassador is the Icelandic Computer Society. They're also a member of CPIS. They were also the first gold certified members. And they do excellent work as well in Iceland, and they are very good representative of this initiative in Iceland. What else we do? I will go through that shortly. So we do events such as closed workshops on specific DEI topics. For example, we did one on inclusive language. We did also one on quotas and targets. So basically just really small groups that can actually workshop ideas rather than just listen to presentations. But we also do just regular webinars that are open for everyone. And we also have annual conferences. Last year we did one on working together and the importance of collaborating in order to increase gender equality in tech. And we saw also the European Commissioner for Equality, Helena Dalli, as a keynote speaker there in our event. Speaking of events, so save the date. In next year, on the 14th of May, we will do our first big in-person event. It will be a one-day conference in Berlin. We will co-organize it with the German Informatics Society, who is another gold certificate holder in the DiversIT Charter. And this event will focus on policies and practices of attracting, but mainly retaining tech talent. So if you're available and if you're interested, don't hesitate to join. Another thing that we do is communications. So we have a DiversIT Talks section on the web page, and we do original blog posts on specific diversity and equality topics. So something really specific that hopefully is useful to people, such as, for example, importance of giving unbiased performance reviews or boosting your ESG performance with diversity, equality, and inclusion. And very quickly about the certification process. So Jillian already outlined some of it, but basically the way it works is that potential applicants apply either through our website or just by contacting us. We send them the application form, which then gets filled in, and 3 members of our international assessment team will evaluate the application. And if it's successful, you will receive a certificate and become a member for 5 years, after which you will need to recertify. So our experts will also provide you with feedback on your activities, and you'll be invited to showcase your best initiatives at our next event. So just in spirit of transparency, yes, it's a paid certification. However, the cost is purely symbolic to cover the assessment costs and some operational costs, because we are a not-for-profit organization and rely on the membership fees to keep our work going. So finally, how you can get involved, just subscribe to our newsletters, follow our LinkedIn page, join our events, and if you want to apply for the certification, it's really worth it. And if you are interested in the Allied membership, contact us and we will discuss it. You'll find all the information on our website. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. And now I'd like to jump to the next section of the event. And that is a talk with our 2 of our certified members. So we have here Arne Heider from the Icelandic Computer Society. And we have here Nurcan from the Informatics Association of Turkey. And so we received a few questions also from people who could not attend this meeting due to the timing. So maybe I could start off with those questions. So, Arnheidur, maybe you could first quickly introduce yourself, and then could you perhaps tell us what advice would you give to any organizations or companies that are interested to apply for the charter certification?
Yes, thank you, Erica. So I'm the manager for the Icelandic Computer Society and also part of the DiversIT group. And we were one of the first to get certified. So I think I was the first one to go through the whole process, and luckily we have fixed it a bit, but there are a lot of advices that I can give, so I could maybe talk about some of them. So what we did was, when we opened the application form, I thought it was a bit overwhelming, even though I was a part of the group. So I decided just to start with a blank paper and just write down what I think that we are doing, just to see what comes into my mind, because we didn't have a special part in our society just to focus on diversity or women as whole. So, but when we started to write it down, we saw that we are doing a lot of things that was already to be more diverse for our society. So I would just say, just right in the beginning, don't overthink things. Just start, write something down, and keep your mind open, because when you start to fill out the application form, you get some new ideas, because the application form and the support documents, they give you a lot of ideas what you could do, or maybe you are already doing it, but you don't see it like this. If you have your mind open, you can see maybe, oh yeah, this is a part of step 3 or level 3 or whatever. And also, at least what we did, we decided that we do not have to be doing everything ourselves. So we could maybe team up with, for example, we do not have anymore a special women group in our society. So we decided to team up with other women's groups in tech. So I would just say, I don't think that everyone and all companies have to do all the things. They could maybe team up in groups or something. But of course, that's maybe not always the case that you can do it. And also I would suggest that you have some milestones. I mean, you can line up, okay, I've started to do this initiative, but I would like to do it better. So maybe if I'm applying for bronze or silver, I've started, but when filling out the form, I could just decide, okay, I'm going to do this and this, so I could maybe do some long-term plan. And also I would suggest that when applying, you put together a group, not a group of women, just a very diverse group within your company, because then you have more eyes and more minds thinking about what are we doing as a wide concept to decrease our diversity in our company. And of course, as we all know, diverse teams, they have better ideas and better solutions that fits everyone, because I would say that diversity is not just about getting more women. You have to be open for having more age diversity, education diversity, and so on. One extra benefit that we found out when we were applying was that when we are filling out the form, and one part of the form is the KPIs. So we were wondering, okay, how can we have some KPIs visible and to prove that we are doing these things? So we had to make our activities visible. But there was not that much trouble, because our main activities are hosting events and getting speakers to speak at events for tech people. And so we decided just to gather all statistics from our events and show visibly the numbers of female speakers, and also within our community, how many female members we have in our community. In Iceland, we have in the tech industry and the computer science industry almost 30% women. I know it's much higher than maybe in other countries, but we need to retain it. We cannot drop it. So it's a challenge. And even though we have all these women, I would say all, we always struggle to have female speakers. So we would like to have 50-50 female speakers in our dream world, but we are getting very close to 30%, which will then reflect our community. But gathering all the statistics, it was not so much work. You just have to have it in Excel and just focus on it. So then when we are talking about the activities, it was not that much trouble to get all the statistics done and have them visible on our website. So I would say that was an extra benefit, that we could have this more visible and wrapped in. That just happened when we were filling out the application. And also, of course, you have to have realistic KPIs. I mean, in the dream world, yes, 50% speakers, 50% members, but in the tech industry, maybe that's not a realistic goal. I don't know. Maybe in 100 years, I hope, at least. But in the application, there are 7 stages, and I think that it's important that you have something in all the stages or the levels. Even though you're not perfect, but that you are doing everything, like Gillian told us about that, all these 7 stages, women's group or education and so on. And of course, it depends on what level you're applying for, if it's bronze, silver, or gold. When you're part of the DiversIT group, you can, of course, learn from others. So maybe if you apply for silver, you could then apply from gold when you have had some ideas from the other applicants. And also just try to involve the leaders in your company in the first stage. Do not have a group of women doing this as some small project. You have to have the men with you, and also the whole company has to be focusing on diversity, which in Iceland at least, it's very popular now to talk about diversity and inclusion. So that's maybe our tips to just start the application. Just do it, just start, begin to try to gather all the information, what you're doing, and maybe put on a plan what you would like to do. So that's my main tips, but yeah.
Thank you, Arnheiður. That was very useful, and also very nice to hear, because I know you have been, you are a very honest person, and you can be quite critical and direct about things. So it's really very nice to hear from you this encouraging message. Thank you so much. So and then let's go to the next stage. So assuming that you have taken Arnheiður's advice on board, you have received, you have applied, and you have received the gold level of the DiversIT certification. Nurcan, perhaps you are also one of our gold certificate holders. Perhaps you could quickly introduce yourself and tell us what benefits have you experienced so far, and as a holder of a DiversIT gold certificates. And what did you expect, and did that meet your expectations? If you could elaborate on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Erika. My name is Nurcan Sunay. I'm a Women's Working Group Coordinator of Turkish Informatic Association. Let me briefly explain our association, about our association. Our association is a civil society organization that has been trying to distribute information culture with its members from all levels of the society since 1971. Our association continues to make significant contribution to development of IT sector with women and young student groups. In fact, while answering your question, I would like to talk about what gold certificate provides to IT sector rather than the benefits it provides to our association individually. Let me underline some aims of the Turkish Informatic Association. To collect informatic scientists together and help to improve their professional, to increase awareness of becoming an information society through the country, developing solution to social problems related to informatics. Turkish Informatic Association has been carried out its work on gender diversity for a long time. It has project to increase the participation of women in our events and our board and girls in technology professions. Being gold certified give us a very big responsibility. In fact, we have undertaken a very important task. From now on, the lead diversity efforts in our country and in our IT sector will be our duty and our responsibility. After the gold certificate, we present our association studies on DiversIT in our international and national events and our social media channels. We have accelerated awareness activities, and we are introducing DiversIT charter to the IT companies in our country. We promote the charter at every event in order to attract female employers to the workforce and help them make a career in this field and ensure equal opportunities. Gold certificate has created a privilege for us in our country in this regard. It provides us with a very big network, raise awareness for us, and we ensure that women were at the forefront in the IT sector. We thought that the benefit should be IT ecosystem rather than our society. Also, we should focus more on the activities, and while doing events, a network was created within the country. We think that promotions and our events have been input to this system and also to the ecosystem. And we believe that their output will be in coming months. Gender diversity studies at the IT sector also will be output of this regard. Our planned event is also continue. Each month we organize some event, different stakeholders, and also we report this event to our board. And we also prepare some document, for example, brochure is in Turkish also. If I summarize, we think that gold certificate provide us to leadership of the IT sector in our country.
That is a perfect message. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
That is really great. So another question that we received was something that also relates to a point that Arnheidur mentioned, namely that in order to reach the equality goals and even to have support in applying for the charter, you have to have involvement of at all levels. And to have some real results, you do have to have a support of the board or the C-level of your company. So how do you communicate to them? Perhaps Arnheidur, you could take that one, since you are also a high-level person, and you also communicate to high-level people. So, what would you say to some CEO who says, "Oh, not again. What does this woman want?" Okay, I'll listen to you for 5 minutes, and then you can get out.
Well, this is always a problem, but as being the first national member for the DiversIT, I've been trying to reach out to companies in Iceland. Of course, in my society, my board is okay with this, and they're all thinking about diversity. So it's not a problem within my society or my company. So, but when I'm reaching out to companies and try to tell them about the DiversIT charter, I decided to send to the most personally high level, the CEO in companies. And some I just sent directly to them, do you want to have some certification about that you are doing something in diversity? Maybe sometimes I include the HR manager, but I decided just to focus on them. And they were all open for it. And of course, they would say, good to know, talk to my HR manager. And then everyone say it's too much work and so on. So, but I will still try to focus on the CEO when I'm going the next round. Do you want something? Do you want me to tell you more about the charter and so on? So yeah, the highest level.
Persistence is key. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. And there was also something else that I don't remember who I was talking to. I think it was at Web Summit, but I was talking to someone, and they also mentioned that sometimes people, and especially decision makers, they get a bit tired from hearing this, diversity, this equality, that women, this women, that. So there is a word that can be used, cognitive diversity. So that is basically, at the risk of maybe womansplaining a bit, cognitive diversity is just basically people who think differently. And that way you don't mention women specifically, or age specifically, or race, or whatever. That way you can just simply say that it makes perfect sense that people who think differently, they they can provide better ideas and more ideas, and see different aspects and different solutions to problems. And it follows logically that, a group of straight white men, and they're 50 years old, all from the same university, will not come up with very different solutions to the same problem. It is a woman who might have a different perspective. It is a person of color who is coming from a different background who has a different perspective. And many leaders come to this conclusion by themselves. So they have this instinct that, if I hire my old pal from school, maybe he won't really help that much in solving the problems that I have. So maybe using the terminology, let's say cognitive diversity or something, or that is also could be helpful.
Yeah, like for us, I do not talk about just the women. I always talk about diverse group.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then say, for example, women or age or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Erika, a few things to add, if I may.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. It is very enlightening the way you go with the CEOs. And sometimes this is what we do, but we, I guess, try another way of reaching different people. This is what we do. We sometimes get appointments from the CEOs, but they're so full, always hectic schedule. So we decide to see general managers or the CIOs, whoever is available, then ask for focus group meetings. For example, the one that we will be having next week will be in this format. We have contacted, especially Nurcan has contacted the general manager, CEO of the Technopark, and she has agreed to organize a meeting with all the startups and all the other organizations or the institutions, especially one of them also received an award because she, I mean, is the CEO, and also she has received an award because most of the company staff is women. So she will be with us next week, listening to us, listening to what DiversIT is. So we prefer to go into the groups, focus groups. So this saves time, energy, and effort. And of course, we take our brochure with us, and this is the way it goes. Thank you, Erika.
Oh, great. Thank you, Serap, for adding this. It's always good to have also some more perspectives because indeed not the same approach doesn't always work for everyone, and it also is different in different countries as well. Of course, company cultures are often quite varied. Okay, so I think that we're nearing the end of our hour, and probably people are getting a bit hungry by now. So unless there are any more questions, we can close the event, and I would like to thank you all for joining. It was really nice to have you all here, and hopefully we will remain connected.
Thank you, Erika.
And thank you, of course, to Anhedur and Nurcan, and also Serap for your kind contributions.